My name is Mark Cousins. I'm an architect in Edinburgh. I've been working as part of the design team on the Crinan Canal Charrette. So I've been here 3 days now. We've been meeting with various client groups and local representatives and interested bodies. And we've been amassing their ideas and distilling them down to one key drawing, which I've got in front of me, which I've been doing this morning. And it sets out a number of ambitions and proposals for further consideration. So I've documented 15 here on this drawing, and it shows the whole length of the canal. So it stretches from Crinan, the top end, down through to Argyll at the bottom end. And some of the ideas include enhancing the idea of these ancient woodlands that are just behind the canal basin at Crinan, trying to draw people into those woods, extending the jetty to allow cruise liners, cruise ships, things like the Waverley to dock, so that people can then disembark and enjoy the canal. As you move down through the canal, there are various options for staying overnight in the marina, maybe some camping pods. There's some bird watching hides we would propose. As we move further south, there'd be more woodland walks. There'd be, at the old linnet shed, we'd generate some maybe new artist studios, cafes. Maybe some of the basins there could be used for children's boating experience to get them involved and engaged. Down here at Cairnban, we would look at a major signage to make sure that tourists didn't drift off to Oban, but they knew that the canal carried on up to Crinan itself. And here there could be a potential site for a significant building, maybe a cultural centre or such like, to just sort of catch the passing tourist as they move through. There's also amazing forests in at the back here, which would make great trails for mountain bikes. Moving down towards Loch Gilphead, and here we've got another potential site, two potential sites in fact, and various works that will be proposed for the town centre, including relocating the caravan park, a new event space perhaps. But all of these are really just to flag up, and then there are lots more detailed drawings that show the work in greater detail. Down into Argyll itself, the principal ambition here is to enhance the local business, retail and accommodation options and see Argyll elevated to be a real tourist hub for people who are travelling on further south, down towards the Mull of Kintyre.
Hello, my name is Colin Ross. I'm an architect and illustrator, and I'm here as part of the wider team looking at ways to improve both the amenity of Crinan Canal corridor and the relationship between the canal and settlements that sit along the corridor line. One of which is Loch Gilphead, and I've been looking at the town specifically over the last couple of days, working with the community and trying to understand some of the issues or some of the opportunities that exist within the town. Some of the key things we've been looking at are the frontage, which we think is and the prom and the green, which sits along the water's edge, and the relationship between the town, the frontage and the water itself, which is tidal, so a lot of the time it's mudflats. It's not always glistening water at the edge of the town green. We've also been looking at a gateway and access to the town, which is a bit underplayed and undersold at present. You're driving into the middle of the town before you know it. You're not really aware of any special arrival or celebration of arrival at either end in the town. The connection to the canal is a little bit poor, and we've been looking at ways to improve that. And we've been generally looking at the town centre, how you might start to enliven that in the town are about arrival, about connectivity to the frontage, about formalising the main street, which is a little bit isn't very people friendly at the minute. There's a poor connection from the high street here across to the green, and the opportunities within some of the back historic area of the town, the steadings. Maybe there's a bit of richness in small scale development, arts and craft, etc., that might start to enliven or create a bit of diversity in the town centre. Here then, we're looking to update the park, make a proper sense of activity, stretch the high street down into a formal place, across into the green, slow the traffic down. There's a real problem with there's no reason for traffic to calm down at the minute, and so we're looking at ways, measures of surface, maybe raised tables, etc., but measures to just calm it down and actually make it more people friendly. The idea here is that the town's main asset is the frontage, and currently it's underplayed, and as a way to think about the future of the town and strategise, thinking about and plan, but also in terms of the overall frontage and how it exists at the minute. In this kind of zone here, without termination and without ends, it might extend itself to destinations here and beyond, possibly to existing derelict structures that have current plans to become different types of centres or hotels, etc. So there's various plans going on for a building here. At this end is Argyll, which I've not been looking at in particular, but there's a whole other set of proposals here. So you can see the connection between the two settlements. So it's not rocket science, it's about working with people, trying to understand what they think is important about their town, bringing our experience and expertise to the table and trying to knit that together, creating a little bit of ambition, nothing too ridiculous, although there's an opportunity to be a little bit lateral at times and challenging, but certainly bring a degree of intelligence to how some new development and breathing new life into the town might be possible over the next few years.
Hi, I'm Akiko. I'm an architect. I've been asked to join the design team as a facilitator and a drawer. We did lots of drawing yesterday and the day before, and last night was a really interesting event, which was the Pechakucha organised by Peter and Wave Particle, and we were really privileged to get a chance to hear about all sorts of things that were already happening in the area. Not all the design team were able to make it, so what I thought I'd do today is draw a map of all the stories that we heard about, but also show how they covered all sorts of aspects of life in this area and themselves, how they're also interconnected. So what I did was to start off by making a tile for each of the 11 speakers and projects, and as you can see, they're all set within this wheel, and there are various things that are covered. So health, wildlife, landscape, biodiversity, sustainability, tourism and promotion, events and festivals, culture and heritage, buildings, the artist community, digital tech, manufacturing, industry and youth. So we have various different artistic, cultural, tourist and wildlife initiatives showcased yesterday, but as you can see, they're not necessarily all just in one sector. There's lots of overlap. I mean, you can see right here in the middle, Argyll Youth Arts, that's connected to the artist community, to youth, now more and more to digital and tech. Yeah. That's definitely about health. A lot of their work and their inspiration is both in the landscape and is connected to culture and heritage as well. And they're also an integral part of making events and festivals happen, but they work very closely with Art Map Argyll. But since sticking it up on the wall, we've added more grey lines because people have come in who were there last night or who know about these organisations, and I've said, can you come and have a look at this map and tell me if I've connected you to the right people? Would you say that you're actually this as well and that as well? And they said, oh yeah, actually, this project came about in strong partnership with, for example, Heart of Argyll Tourism and Art Map Argyll. So that's something that, as a design team, we didn't know about, and we thought it was really important to visualise that so that not just everyone that's part of the consultation process, but these organisations who we've mapped here understand these relationships between each other as well, so that they can strengthen them even more.
I'm Mike Harrison. I'm a landscape architect on the project for the Crinan Charrette. I work for a company called Harrison Stevens, and we've been brought into the project to provide some public realm and landscape advice for the community. So this is the work that I've been looking at today. We've been, first of all, I took a photo from the street level, which gives us the impression of existing situation. So you've got fairly wide streets. This is Argyll Street that comes down and meets the main road from Glasgow that then goes through to either Oban or Campbelltown. And this is the waterfront, the green on the left-hand side of the image. But you can see that there's predominant sort of clutter of signing and lighting, phone box, roundabout signing, central islands, a lot of VisiRail stuff in terms of trying to keep pedestrians into very concise little places to cross. And it's a typical kind of layout of that kind of main trunk road arrangement, but there's so much more potential to it. So when we were looking through a lot of the proposals with the residents over the last 2 or 3 days, we really came up with the idea of trying to draw Argyll Street, which has a lot of shops and cafes on it, draw that down onto the green with new public realm proposals and trying to slow down the traffic, because this is actually quite a speedy road. Although it's got I think it's a 30 mile an hour through the town, it's quite fast, and it's quite straight as well. So the next thing that I did was really just to overlay that and try and just give people an impression of how it might look if we take a lot of the clutter away. Some people call it naked street, it's slow flow, or it's shared surface. But we're not precluding vehicles, that's the key thing to say. We're just making it a safer place for pedestrians. So we're looking at taking the strong geometry of Argyll Street down onto the green, reducing the impact of the open tarmac, if you like, running through from the road from Glasgow through to Oban and Campbelltown, and really kind of making that more of a high quality public realm space through the town. There's opportunities also where some of the houses and businesses step back to create cafe spill out spaces for people to sit and relax and enjoy the view out southwards over Loch Gilp. So we've taken a lot of the clutter away. You'll see that we've really reinforced that street coming through from Argyll Street with high quality sort of paved materials that would run and sort of continue through onto the green, make a little sort of pedestrian zone around the War Memorial on the left-hand side here, and also just try and take that quality of material through into the footpaths and into central reservations. So really it's not about sort of narrowing the vehicle roads, but just narrowing their perception, if you like, of the road. So the actual carriageway is the same width as it was before, but we've just visually, through a lot of strong geometry and materials, reduced the extent of the tarmac through there, and give the vehicle an impression, the driver rather, an impression of going through a public space rather than driving on a road. Another view taken from the sort of north end of Argyll Street, looking south towards the snow-capped hills in the background, which due to the snow we've had recently at the end of April. So this is again illustrating a really typical Scottish town street, high street. I said before that there was a lot of cafe and shops around the street frontage, but they're not really taking advantage of the sort of aspect and the great views, and the street is predominant, is dominated by traffic. Parking you see on the left-hand side here, and buses sort of driving through. Now we don't want to stop any of that to happen, because apparently this is also the major ambulance route up to the hospital further north part of the town. So we're really looking at just trying to keep all that function happening, but trying to bring wider pavements, more pedestrian-friendly environments. You'll see also a lot of kind of street clutter of litter bins and sandwich boards and all the rest of it. So just trying to rationalise all of that to try and get a better environment and to focus you more onto the village green, or the town sort of green frontage at the front. So this is early days. I haven't actually finished this one yet, but we're just starting to look at how we could break up the geometry of the roads, try and bring sort of paving materials across, and look at granite stone materials, and again sort of calming measures across the streetscape. So we're not talking about a pedestrianisation scheme here, but we're talking about a place where everyone has equal use, pedestrians, cyclists, buses, cars, and deliveries, lorries, vehicles. But typically it will give the pedestrian a better environment. Some of these cafe areas may be able to start to spill out onto the street and just make use of some of these built out spaces across.
I run a practice of architects, and my role in this charrette is to coordinate the design team. So there's a number of professionals, and I brought them all together, the best team I could find to come here for this event. So the process of getting to these, and this isn't the end of this exercise, and we're going to continue working on this later this evening. So we use all the time we possibly can. But these come from conversations and research into finding out all the existing initiatives that have been going on and in the area, so that we don't miss out on local initiatives. And we're trying to make sure we illustrate those and show them all in a coordinated way, as best as possible. And also bring new ideas to the table too. All the assets of Argyll, and we listed them all, and it was only almost when we concluded the conversation, someone mentioned, "Oh, don't forget the canal." And it was very telling, because clearly the canal is not a very visible part of Ardrishige's identity, but it's crucial to Ardrishige's history and its future as an attraction. So how can we make the canal apparent? How can we make sure that people make a loop, so that when they do visit Ardrishig, they pass all those great attractions. They get the promenade, the seafront walkway. They get past. How do we get them past the obstacles of, particularly the Gleaner site, the former Gleaner oil site? So that's been an interesting question. The hall to the toilet block that's outside at the moment. Turn the hall door around to face this space here, like that has been suggested already. Bring the kayakers facilities and dinghy facilities into play here, so that they're nearer the route. This is the route for portage for the kayaks. So bring that right in onto the route that they take. Improve the promenade, maybe extending it right to the end, right up to the Grey Gull. Screening. There's lots to screen. There's the bins, there's the recycling bins, there's some folk don't think the boatyard's so pretty, so maybe that's a way to screen it. Make this link continue round the Gleaners site, the former Gleaners site, right past this other boatyard and pass through Pier Square and continuing on. We've shown more visitor moorings for stopping off. I mentioned all the possible uses that people suggested for the Gleaners site. This is just one version of it that we've drawn. Must mention soft play and indoor wet weather activity would be great. Maybe Canals office move into here, and that becomes part of a visitor building here in Pier Square. I mentioned a bit more boat transit here would be good. Give the lighthouse a facelift. This canal site across the road is it could be a wonderful microbrewery, maybe a distillery part of it. It could spill out onto this space up here, onto the edge of the stances, or it could spill out down here. Down here, we want to encourage the old Riki, the boat, the original one of those, the puffers, to come and moor here in the summer season. Be a really great signifier of that the canal is here. Many people will just whiz past here and hardly notice it, the canal. But if there's a boat there, it'll be a real landmark, encouraging you to drive and park and use the facilities in the village.